And happy Monday, everyone. My name is meteorologist Heather Kane. It's time for our daily hail forecast, sponsored as always by C3 Group, Merlin Law Group, American Contractor Show, as well as Atlas Roofing. Thank you guys for sponsoring our video. So let's get right into our weather headlines. We do have a few maps to talk about that. We had some hail that occurred in the Carolinas as well as Texas on Saturday, so we'll go over those. And then as we talk about our severe weather for today, South Florida, we do have a risk there for both hail and wind, and we'll talk about that. But then as we get into the next few days, it could get a bit active here in the U.S., so I'll talk about what areas we'll be watching as well. So again, like I said, we do have a few maps to basically go over. The first one is a 4-star map that occurred again on Saturday in the parts of the Carolinas. This one is called Rock Hill, South Carolina, Lumberton, and Troy, North Carolina. The largest hail that fell was up to 4.5 inches in diameter, so pretty large hail there. And the amount of homes that were impacted with quarter-size hail or larger was almost 74,000 homes. So again, Rock Hill in South Carolina, York down into just north of Lancaster, we had a nasty storm, long-lived, that tracked all the way to the southeast. And then we had some more hailers. We had one just to south of Tabor City, South Carolina, and then Lumberton up to Lawrenceburg, North Carolina. We had some large hail there. And then again, another one in Troy, North Carolina. So again, 4-star map available on our website. If you're not a subscriber and you just want to purchase a single map, that's available for purchase. If you're a subscriber, this should be available to you guys to view. And then we had a 3-star map in Texas, also on Saturday. Timber Park up to New Braunfels, that's basically what we called it. Largest hail was up to 2 inches in diameter, and the amount of homes that were impacted with quarter-size hail or larger was almost 46,000. So again, you guys know the drill. If you are a subscriber, that is available for you to view right now. If you have any issues, you can scan the QR code and you can set up a demo. And if you're interested in our products and getting signed up, again, that code is available to scan and we can get you all set up. And again, yeah, more storms to the south of that region as well. So let's get right into our current conditions. Overall, a pretty quiet day across the lower 48. We do have a disturbance here in the Dakotas into Minnesota, just some light showers though with that. We are watching a trailing cold front though in southern Florida. This does include the Miami metro region. Just a few showers right now, but you can see a few storms are trying to fire up here along and ahead of that front. So we'll be watching you guys as we get through the rest of this afternoon and evening until that front pushes off. So taking a look at our temperatures, 82 down in Miami, so that's the warm spot basically across almost the entire United States except for parts of Southern California and Arizona. Everywhere else, pretty comfortable. Temperatures are in the 60s along and ahead of that low pressure system, but behind it, temperatures are in the upper 40s to lower 50s. In terms of our dew points, we are very dry across almost pretty much the entire country except for down into Miami where we have a dew point of 69. So it's a bit sticky. That fuel is there for those storms to fire up along and ahead of that cold front. So taking a look at some current conditions across a few of the major metro areas. First here in Oklahoma City, currently we're sitting at 65 in OKC proper, 64 in Yukon, and more 60s across the board here, basically from OKC all the way up to Tulsa. Then down into the DFW area, pretty much the same. Temperatures are warming up into the low 60s at 62 in Dallas. A bit warmer here in Rockwell where it is 66. But again, low to mid 60s across the board there. And then going out into the Rockies, Denver, you're actually warmer than us right now. It's 72 there, 68 in Centennial, and 67 down in Colorado Springs. So let's talk about our risk for today. Here is our future radar. This is the HRRR model. You guys know how this rolls. This is just one run of one particular model. So a few storms are expected to develop as we go through this afternoon and into the evening along and ahead of that front as it pushes on through. And then as we go, this is at 7 p.m. Central, so 8 p.m. Eastern. You can see it's just taking its jolly old time. So storms will try to fire up and then they will kind of back build a bit and fire up again. So that risk will be around through this evening. And then as we lose that instability in the heating of the day, that risk will dwindle and we should be quiet through the overnight hours. So here's our forecast for today in terms of hail. Again, Miami is really the only area that we're going to be watching for just quarters, maybe $0.50, nothing too significant here. Along the southeastern part of the state. And in terms of wind, same deal, up to 60 mile per hour wind gusts across southeastern Florida, and that does of course include Miami. So in terms of the risks for today, that is all. But as we get into tomorrow, we'll be watching parts of Texas. So here is tomorrow's run. Again, this is the HRRR model. We're going to stop it at 5 p.m. Central. You can see a few storms trying to form here. Basically, I think it's going to stay east of Lubbock, but we'll be watching Wichita Falls all the way down to Abilene. Again, just a few isolated storms are possible. There will be a cap in place, and they may be elevated in nature. So if they do go up, they'll go up and only last for a few hours. I can see just very few and far between, and then as we get into later in the evening, they die off. So it looks like it's going to be a pretty small window, but if we can get that cap to break, we could see some large hail across parts of western Texas. So here is what I'm thinking for tomorrow. Again, just a low end chance because of that cap being in place, and those storms look like they're going to be more elevated. So by the time if a storm does go up and that hail reaches the surface, I think up to golf ball size hail is possible. Again, just something that we'll be watching. Abilene up to Wichita Falls. You guys are the two largest cities in this. So again, very isolated. We'll see if anything can develop as we get into tomorrow afternoon. And then for the wind, same deal. 60 mile per hour wind gusts are possible from Wichita Falls down to Abilene if we can get a storm or two to break through the cap and develop and drop some large hail. But after today and tomorrow, things may be getting a bit more interesting. So let's take a look at the upper jet stream first, and then we'll take a look at some of the lower levels after that. So here is that system that is tracking through the north right now. So this is tomorrow at 5 p.m. It's just going to make its way off to the east. And as we get into our Wednesday, you can see a little bit of a wiggle here, not a whole lot, but there is something something there. Whenever there's some type of little disturbance, we have to keep an eye on it. But you can see another trough off the western coast of California. That one we'll be watching a bit more carefully as we get into the middle to the end of the week and into our weekend. So we'll be watching the plains here from basically parts of Kansas down into the panhandle of Texas as we get into Thursday. And then that little short wave starts to deepen a bit. You can see those winds aloft start to increase as well. So this is one little short wave, but you can see that main trough still trying to move on in here. So that little one starts to move off, and then the risk will basically move off to the east with it. But you can see another one starting to move on through as we get into Saturday. So basically Thursday into Friday we'll have that risk in the Central Plains, and we'll basically most likely reset pretty quickly as we get into Saturday as that main trough moves on through, getting into Saturday night, and then getting into Sunday morning. So moving into kind of the middle to lower levels of the atmosphere, taking a look at the jet stream there. Again, we have a bit of a disturbance here in the north, nothing in terms of severe weather with that. Cold front in the very far southeastern part of the U.S., like literally as far south as you can go. Miami, we'll be watching you guys for some severe storms this afternoon as we get into Monday. Well, today's Monday, getting into Tuesday. Not a whole lot. Again, just a few little wiggles here in the flow for tomorrow. And then as we get into Wednesday, you can see a little bit of a short wave here that we'll be watching from Kansas down into the Texas Panhandle for our Wednesday. But you can see that trough out west starting to make its way to the east. And Thursday we'll be basically watching some of the same areas for the potential of severe weather. You can see that short wave hanging around there, and then just all of a sudden starting to dig. So this is the first little short wave in the main trough itself. So as we get into Friday, here we go. Some of the same areas again. So Thursday into Friday, moving off to the east a little bit. But then as we get into Saturday, here we go, that main trough starting to set up, and we could see another active day here in the plains on Sunday, and then it'll push off, or Saturday, and then getting off to the east here on Sunday. So here are our dew points. Again, the only area that has moisture right now is in Miami, but that will be changing as we get into tomorrow. That moisture will be returning here from basically Oklahoma down into Texas. So we will be watching, again, Wichita Falls down to Abilene for a storm or two. So the moisture will be there, but again, it will be capped. So we'll see if that cap can break. As we get into Wednesday, the moisture return is a bit better as we start to see those short waves pushing on through. It will give that lift, instability, and the moisture will be there, and we'll have a better chance for some storms. Much better chance though as we get into Thursday. Plenty of moisture here in the Plains region, and you can see it sticks around on Friday, just pushing slightly off to the east here. So Missouri all the way down to Texas. We'll be watching you guys on Friday, but then we quickly reset for our Saturday. You can see that moisture just comes right back up here for our Saturday afternoon and evening, and that will start to push off a little bit as we get into Sunday. So we're going to take a look at our instability before we look at our map for the next few days of the areas that we'll be watching. So here's our instability just here in Florida, sitting on out, and then you can see as we go into later on this evening into overnight hours, that dwindles off as we lose that heating of the day. Then getting into tomorrow, again, just to the east of Lubbock, I think as of right now, there will be some instability setting on up. So Wichita Falls down to Abilene, that's the best chance where we could see a storm or two develop if that cap again can break. And then starting to get more of that instability slowly starting to track on north here for our Wednesday. And then Thursday, Kansas all the way down to parts of western Texas, just to the west, I think, of Oklahoma City. And we may try to get in there for our Thursday. And then Friday starts to push off to the east from Iowa all the way down to Texas. And then, wait for it, here we go. Sunday, or Saturday, I should say, a lot more instability. So it's going to be a pretty quick reset, possibly as we get into the next few days. It could be a bit active around here, so make sure you stay tuned to Hail Trace. You don't want to miss anything. So here we go. Here's Wednesday. Again, a pretty low chance right now from Lubbock here into Oklahoma City. As we get into Thursday, we could have a better chance as we start to get those stronger short waves moving on through. So Kansas down to possibly as far east as Oklahoma City, down into the panhandle of Texas. And then Friday here in Oklahoma City, possibly down to Dallas, all the way up to as far north as Des Moines. And then Saturday, we hit the reset button pretty quickly here in the Plains, Wichita, Oklahoma City, Dallas. We'll be watching you guys very carefully as that main trough itself starts to move on through. So again, it's going to be potentially a busy few days after we get through basically today and most likely tomorrow, Wednesday through the rest of the week may be active. So make sure, if you haven't followed us yet, to follow us on X or Twitter, whatever the heck you want to call it, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, as well as our TikTok page. Make sure you hit see first on Facebook so you don't miss any of our videos. If you're interested in a demo or just want more information about our products, you can scan that QR code above and that will get you set up with that. And if you have any questions or concerns, you can call us at 855-334-4245. You can email us at info@hailtrace.com and check out our website at www.hailtrace.com. And I am meteorologist Heather Kay. I hope you all have a great rest of your Monday.